Hello all YouTubers, I am the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning back into this weather presentation for October 28, 2019. As always, please consider subscribing as well as ringing the bell notifications and, looking in the description, all that good stuff. So, today, and you might want to watch the whole video because we will be, again, talking about the two winter storms sweeping across the United States. I made my own snowfall prediction maps. But first, I did want to talk about the California wildfires because I know it's just people are very desperate out there in the West, and the winds are like 90 miles an hour. And you would think, and even I used to think, years ago, like 5 years ago, that the wind puts the fire out. I mean, it almost kind of makes sense. The wind blows on the fire, like you blow on a fire, it goes out. But I've learned that's not the way it is. The wind spreads the fire. So we're gonna be talking about fires briefly first, and then we'll get into the snowstorm and my prediction maps and all that. So let's get started by looking. Okay, I thought I had the drop monitor pull up already. All right, come on. All right, it's okay. It's right here. So here is the drop monitor, and you can see not really any much drought. It's just that the conditions are already there. You can see not much of a drought at all actually in California. The drought is in the four corners. California, I mean, doesn't mean the conditions are good. It just means they've been improving a little bit. There really was never a drought there. When there is a drought there, it means the fires can form. They've already formed in California. They just need spreading now. So here's the Kincaid fire. I couldn't find a map like this for the Tick fire, which is another one. Kincaid fire is farther north, near Sacramento. Tick fire is more south, or closer to Los Angeles. But this is from October 23rd, and it burned 30,000 acres, and that was 5 days ago. Can you imagine what it's doing right now? Containment's 10%. I believe that's pushed past 50, if I'm not mistaken, or close to 50, around that area. 79 structures destroyed or damaged. That's probably well into the hundreds at this point. And source is California fire. The Tick fire, this was an instrument. This was 3 days ago. And Tick fire is not quite as big as the Kincaid, but still both very destructive. Over 4,000 acres a few days ago. Again, 10% containment. We had a few 7 structures damaged. Six of those were destroyed, and threatened structures is over 10,000. So that's got a long way to go up, and that's probably gonna go up even more. And yeah, so that's. You can see areas still under mandatory evacuation. We got the Sand Canyon south of Sierra Highway into the Soledad Canyon. Alright, here I'm going to give you a little video for the Weather Channel to kind of introduce you to the wildfires.
It's been a dangerous weekend of wildfires throughout California, fueled by the Santa Ana winds. High pressure is set up in the Great Basin, and we're going to continue to see offshore winds through this week, and the worst may be yet to come. Now, they will back off some by later today, and that is good news.
So by the evening, and pretty much what happens every night is the winds to relax. They will return tomorrow, so strong winds. So if the firefighters are going to get at it, they got to get at it tonight. That's when they are the most productive at night. And maybe even the early morning. By the afternoon, the winds all pick up again. 2 million people without power. A couple days ago, that number was in half. So doubled over the past 12 to 24 hours. The winds will begin to diminish by Thursday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, the winds are going to pick up once again.
So by this evening, the winds start to relax, but they pick up once again on Tuesday, and that could be some of the strongest winds that they have seen. Already about 2 million people are without power. Now, the winds...
All right, so the red flag warning for Northern California goes through Monday morning, which, okay, I guess it's done. And that's where wind gusts will be to 70 miles an hour. Wouldn't be surprised that red flag warning got extended. But through this afternoon, that's probably starting to end as well. The red flag warning in Southern California, winds gusting to 60 miles an hour. It's not quite as much, but still, San Diego's under a fire weather watch.
Weaken again as we get into the later half of the week by Thursday. Here's a look at the red flag warnings. Now, this goes through the morning through northern and central California before those winds back down. Gusts this morning upwards of 70 miles per hour. And then through Southern California, the winds start to relax by tonight. So those red flag warnings are going to go through the afternoon with gusts up to 60 miles per hour. So here's how it looks. Now, the winds do start to weaken.
So, matter of fact, Monday at 11, well, Pacific time, so probably like probably 2 o'clock in Eastern time, 1 p.m. for Central time, and then like the Mountain time is like probably like midnight on Tuesday. So basically, if you're in a time zone in the United States other than this time zone, it's probably Tuesday already. But as you can see, really no winds for really, you know, spread the wildfires more. And where there's no wildfires, we do see some winds, maybe 30, 40 miles an hour, wind gusts. This is, I believe, just wind gust. And maybe that could spark a new fire. I sure hope not. But at least for the fires that are out there in like Utah and over here, maybe even in Colorado if there's a wildfire, you guys are getting some snow. So hopefully that's helping with that situation there.
In all the places we needed to, where there are major wildfires burning right now. By Tuesday, though, we start to see the presence of the offshore winds again, and we could be looking at hurricane force wind.
Yep, hurricane force winds. And no rain for the next 7 days either.
So this could be a very big wind event through the middle of the week. Also important to note, relative humidity will be low, and there is no rain in the forecast, at least through the middle half of the week.
I guess I gotta admit it to you guys. I was playing this video like I was doing now, and I realized I wasn't recording, so I had to start over. Pretty funny. Anyway, so we do have some red flag warnings in effect for North Central California, as well as Southern California. I guess San Diego is now under a red flag warning now as well. So as you can see, we have red flag warnings for Northern and Southern California here. Strongest winds will be in Southern California near the mountains, as well as Northern California. Los Angeles, May through October, really has some low rainfall, 9% for the year, for May through October. Luckily, we're on an upward trend for average, and then once we get to January, we start declining once we head through the spring. But hopefully through the winter, we can get conditions improving. This pretty much happens every late summer and fall, but even though it happens very often, it's still very significant. So strong high builds in, very strong. Jet stream digs down. Nearly tropical storm and even hurricane force winds digging from the north. Strongest winds we've ever seen, as a matter of fact. Santa Ana winds. So let's go through the model analysis here. GFS got negative teens for the dew points as we head through the late week. Same thing with the NAM model here. Really, like, you see, like, oh, wow, we got 50s, moving in. And then we see this moving in from the north. And that's going to kind of just, when you think the dew points are starting to go up a little bit, which it might in the Southern California near the coast, late Tuesday. And then once we head into Wednesday, kaboom. They just come crashing down. Like by Wednesday morning, Northern California up in the mountains could see negative 30, negative 40 for dew points. Southern California probably negative single digits, negative teens. Here's a satellite loop. And if you watched my last video, you see there had convective activity here. But there was also dry air coming in from the north. And it just said, nope, it just neglected it. And whatever's left of it is right there. That jet stream is going to pick it up and just take whatever's left of it, if it can form in anything else, up to the north. Saw a little area of spin here. There's also a little bit of area of spin down there in the Caribbean. Area to watch, we had remnants of Pablo, and then we had like a little, it's not here, but the spin's like way to the right of where I just put it. That has a 20% chance of developing National Hurricane Center. But here's storm number 2. Here's storm number 1. 1's obviously weaker than 2, as we all know. Or we should know if you did watch my last video. So, just going to introduce you with the Weather Channel's video here. Kind of get an idea of what's going on, a little introduction, and I'll get right into it.
A lot of opportunity for winter weather for multiple states in the next few days leading up to Halloween. Already some snow coming down, as you can see here on this back portion, Denver, Colorado, and brutally cold there, as well as in Montana. Look at that wintry roadway. Of course, folks there, they know what to do. Now, let's talk about what you can expect for the back half of the week, because we'll have another front triggering another snow event, and that's where we really could see those snowfall totals piling up, with many locations set to potentially pick up anywhere between 5 to 8 inches, but the forecast models are split. Some are showing higher totals than others, but 5 to 8 is a pretty good bet for cities like Denver. You can also see that is the case as we move further east and check out cities like Madison. So we'll be keeping an eye on this and let you know about any adjustments as the week goes on.
Okay, so as you can see, maybe 1 to 3 from the first storm. Got some winter storm warnings and advisories out for the second one already. Denver can get another 5 to 8 inches from the second storm, and it goes across the plains, and snowfall totals we will get into. Alright, so here's a GFS model here, and I thought this is a little bit, drug out, but kind of like a weather discussion for, maybe, 20 or so minutes, or however long it is, but we are coming to an end as we show you some weather models and my predictions. So here's the first storm. Again, bigger snowflakes, heavier snow, closer to that rain snow line, and even some patches of ice, although very spotty with that. If you happen to be right in the middle between the snow and the rain, get some ice. And then that moves out the first system by like Wednesday, as a matter of fact, even Tuesday afternoon. So really quick movie here. Snowfall totals about 1 to 3 inches. I'm not sure if they're done with the 18Z model run yet. But there is even a little bit of lavender, we can barely see it, on the Illinois-Wisconsin border. And that's about 3 to 3.5 inches. There's another color up from that would have been 4. But 3 to 3.5 inches there, but otherwise, 1 to 3 inches is probably going to be the total from that first storm. Here's another model from the first storm. CMC is not really looking too hot on both storms, actually. So here it is, just a ragged little mess. You can almost see the second storm I was trying to get together already. But kind of a little bit of a raggedy mess. As we move that forward. There it goes. Moving through, and then the second storm starting to brew with some mixing. So total snowfall from the first storm, again, same story, 1 to 2 inches, maybe close to 3. This model's not even showing 3 inches. And then we will see the second storm come through. Let's go back to the GFS. MSLP here. There's a second storm moving through, and some really heavy snow, especially in northern Illinois. There's some, in southern Wisconsin, some really, dark blues. So once that's all set and done, look at the total snowfall, and wow, over a foot for eastern Iowa, and this includes ice. Widespread 6 inches plus from Kansas through northern Missouri, eastern Iowa, northwestern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. Kind of breaks up a little bit, surprisingly, actually, for northern Michigan, UP, like a couple inches. And then Canada, it's all triggered again, more than a foot. But keep in mind, that's from both storms. But still, I mean, majority of it, the other, 7, 8, 9, 10 inches coming from this storm. But just keep in mind that these totals here are from both storms. Let's look. Whoa, did not want to do that. Let's look at the CMC model. Again, not looking that hot on this. I mean, not really much at all. I mean, kind of pushes through, kind of leaves late Thursday into Friday. And total snowfall from both storms, according to the CMC model, 1 to 3 inches, actually, from both southern Wisconsin through northern Missouri. Maybe southeastern Iowa, northeastern Missouri, and western Illinois. Like northwestern Illinois could see 4 to 6. But that's like the highest total out of all these areas besides the mountains over in Colorado. That's the highest totals they present. Here's the NAM model. Okay, there's a first storm looking pretty, intense on their radar. And then you can see a second storm starting to come together there. So total snowfall from both storms, a few inches, but again, that doesn't take into account to the whole storm because it doesn't quite go out far enough yet. But the NAM 12 km does. And that's your snowfall from the NAM. 6 to 8 inches, possibly 6 to 10 in those areas I just circled there in black. Maybe a few inches for eastern Kansas. I really want to get into my predictions here. So here's storm number 1. Alright, so for winter storm number 1, I wouldn't even call this really a winter storm, just like a disturbance that's coming through, kind of like a clipper, or like, not even a clipper, just like a little appetizer. A couple years ago, maybe even last year? On the eastern seaboard, we had like a storm, there was like a clipper one, and then there was like the big bombogenesis one that came in and moved through. But kind of the same situation here, except no really bombogenesis. So there's a track to the low, combined all the models, and that's what kind of the data I gathered. Anywhere in these light blues here, Kansas, Nebraska, or at least western Kansas, central Nebraska, up through Minnesota, especially the western part, maybe gusting to an inch. But 1 to 3 inches is possible. Places like Green Bay, Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, even Des Moines, Iowa, northeastern Kansas, northwestern Missouri. Could even see 1 to 3 isolated 4 inches is possible. Now the second storm, that's a whole different story. We're going to walk you through the snowfall amounts and everything. So winter storm number 2. Okay, this one's going to take more of a southerly path if you haven't noticed. The first storm kind of took a path like this, and the second storm is a little bit more far south, so more cold air can get dragged down. This is combining some models, and those are the latest runs. Even Oklahoma and Texas could see a dusting to an inch. Even Chicago, Gary, Indiana, maybe even Western Michigan, but even the UP. But I think a lot of the snowfall is going to be Iowa, eastern Nebraska, and southern Wisconsin at this point. So 1 to 3 inches. You can see it from northern Nebraska there. Minneapolis might even see a couple inches. But really, Des Moines, Iowa, eastern Nebraska, southern Wisconsin, we can see 8 inches plus. But even outside of there, places like central Nebraska, I'm trying to think of a... I can't even think of a place in Nebraska. Really? northern Kansas here. Maybe even northwestern Missouri. Chicago probably 2 to 4, but 4 to 8 northwest of town through Green Bay. Could even see 4 to 8 inches. Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Lincoln, Nebraska. Lincoln, Nebraska is probably around 8 inches plus for that location. But again, any location, you or a loved one, just comment it down below and I'll be glad to get you the conditions for that area. Alrighty, as we come to a close here, here's the European model real quick. And 6 to 12 plus, just outside Chicago down through northern Missouri. That's where they're calling for their quote-unquote 6 to 12, or even 6 to 10, pardon me. So they're not even calling for that much. Places like Iowa, Wisconsin, maybe 2 to 4. So not much there for the European model. Really quickly, the ice outlook as well. Northern Texas is going to get a lot of ice, probably the most out of this region. Even eastern Kansas, western Missouri, up through western Illinois could even see up to 1/3 of an inch of ice. And spotty areas could see higher than that. 2 million people here are expected to go under national or winter storm warnings. That's what you need to have a winter storm. 400, or you can have 400,000 square kilometers of area go under a winter storm warning in order to have your named storm. So not looking like that here. The second storm might be named the winter storm. The B storm, keep in mind, already had the A. You got some winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings here, and even some freeze warnings. So something to keep watch. We'll see. The first one won't be named, but the second storm that comes through Halloween night might be named. So that's it for today's video. Sorry if this is a little bit drug out, but hopefully you guys, are taking action, especially with the wildfire situation. Hopefully concern for everybody out there. So thank you for watching. I am Dweller Dude, signing off. Till next time.